This is a character that I might play tomorrow in the hardcore league that Trickster and I are doing. There's a couple other streamers who are joining us there as well. I think is Baylor Mage gonna be there? I think so. I think Aphelion POE is gonna be there too. Maybe Catmaster, I think. So I've been thinking about builds to play that aren't just Warcry melee, and because it's kind of a laid-back league, I wanted to find something that was kind of laid back and kind of a goofy build. I spent a lot of time looking at PoE Ninja, and I've been scouring the SSF hardcore builds. I feel like the most, like maybe like not non-meta, maybe not that, but the most maybe off the wall or builds that you might not expect, or builds that are kind of using creative tools. Those kinds of builds, when you're looking for that, tend to be in the like SSF hardcore builds. It's builds who don't always have the perfect solutions, so they make do with what they've got. So I found multiple people who were playing a build that looked very similar to this. So this might be what I play tomorrow. It's kind of a good meme so far. I didn't expect to like it so much. We just kind of leveled this during the stream today. We're level 73. And it's been fun. It's been actually good. So we leveled on a 4-link, and then once we got to like maps, we just like threw on a tabula to like experiment with different support gems. So the build is Kinetic Bolt. We are Kinetic Bolt, Trinity, Greater Volley, Inspiration, and then the last 2 links are kind of flexible. We've been messing around with them. The point of this is that with Greater Volley, or like with Volley and then level 38 Greater Volley, there's some kind of shotgunning that goes on with Kinetic Bolt. You can feel this for yourself when you're like standing, maybe not quite point blank, but maybe like 1 or 2 character models away from an enemy. It feels like you're doing like double damage. So there's some kind of shotgunning that goes on when you're using Volley. I don't know exactly what it is, but I've heard other people mentioning it as well, for like streams that I hang out in and Discords that I hang out in. So it seems to be that, you know, maybe the POB DPS of Kinetic Bolt is not quite accurate when you're standing at the right distance. So we're playing as a Elementalist. I've seen some people and like some forum threads talking about a Raider. We're trying Elementalist because we get Alley Overload, because we get Mind Over Matter, because we're concerned about playing in basically hardcore, because I'm playing hardcore tomorrow. Not only that, but Kinetic Bolt scales with spell damage as well. So this is increases and reductions to spell damage also apply to attack damage at 200% of their value. So if we take something like this, instead of 10% spell damage, this is 20% Kinetic Bolt damage. So if we have something like this, this says more spell damage. This does not apply because more is not a increase and it's not a reduction, right? Hey, Tricked, what's going on? So looking at this build, right? We're Mind Over Matter. We have a Mana Flask here. It's not enduring because I'm lazy. We have some Arcane Will, some mana stuff here, and just like a little bit of mana regeneration, right? And then like some reduced mana cost of skills along with Inspiration support to make sure that everything is nice and easy to sustain, right? So that's like our defense. We're also using a shield. Normally, I don't really like Glancing Blows on a character like this. So Glancing Blows makes it so that you take increased damage. I'm not block capped. I have like 60, maybe 65 block chance right now. But what Glancing Blows does is it gives us a tremendous amount of damage. So let's see in my defense tab, if I look at, what is this? Chance to block attack time, 74, that's a lot. So 74 chance, call it 75 because it's easier. 75% chance to block attack damage. That means that we get, it's only, God, because we're 1 short, it rounds down to 70. So we get 70% increased spell damage. And remember, spell damage counts double toward attack damage. So this node right here is giving us 140% increased attack damage, which is a big number, which is kind of like, you know, the reason for the build. So suffice it to say, we get all the spell damage here. We get spell damage from this. We get like a couple spell damage nodes around the tree and stuff. And then, I guess even spell damage, and then like, you know, we get both of these nodes. And then because we have so much % increased damage, we don't really care about increased damage on our gear. We'd rather get other things. So instead, we want a wand that looks something like this, that has like a whole bunch of flat lightning damage to attacks. Because we already have enough increased damage. Think of it like an Indigon build. Indigon builds already have like 2,000% increased damage. You don't care about, you know, increased damage on an Indigon build. So for this, we already have enough increased damage. Now we want flat. So if we could get like flat fire, flat lightning, flat cold, that would be like the perfect wand for us. Just like a whole bunch of it. Beyond that, we are dealing, we're currently dealing all 3 types of damage, but it's okay because we're using Trinity. So Trinity is self-enabled because sometimes the cold rolls high and sometimes the lightning rolls low. So just by attacking like normal, we can enable Trinity. Trinity is 50% more spell, or 50% more elemental damage, 20% generic penetration. So it doesn't matter what elements we're dealing, we hit all of them. So I told you that I found this build as a SSF hardcore. There's a number of people who are all playing virtually identical builds, which makes me think that maybe they talk to each other, maybe they're friends. And they were all using Spell Slinger with Hydrosphere, which allows them to kind of use Hydrosphere as a way to apply exposure, which is -10, not -25 like normal with Whip Conviction, but only -10. And then it also kind of like mops up the extra mobs there. For us, I don't feel like I quite have enough damage right now, and we're just kind of screwing around in like tier 4, tier 5 maps. But I'm using Shaper of Winter still, so I can still freeze all enemies, right? But I'm using Spellslinger Flame Wall, because that gives us, again, a bunch of flat damage. It gives us 52 to 79 added fire damage to my Kinetic Bolt. So the clear is super easy. The leveling was great so far. We are ailment immune. We have 4 golems with life regen, fizz mitigation, attack speed, and accuracy. So we have accuracy from the golem. We have a leveled up precision that we have here in the bottom right. And then we also have just a little bit of accuracy from the tree as well. So I think, what are we at? Chance to hit 100, chance to hit evasive monsters 99. So our accuracy is doing very well so far. Our single target damage is meh, not really. It is what it is. But when we were fighting Act 10 Kitava, we already had like 4,000 health with 3,000 life and like 1,000 mana. We were super tanky. Act 10 Kitava took like 20 seconds. It was like super fast. And like now that we're in maps, if I were going to continue playing this particular character, I would worry about the gear, but I'm not, because this is kind of an experimental character right now. As it stands, if I were going to recommend a Wander to somebody who wanted like a low budget Wander that they could play in hardcore, maybe play in SSF, just because like they wanted to play the character and whatever the person's requirement is, I would feel comfortable recommending this. I think this is sweet for what it is. It probably scales up just fine. There's like Abyss Jewels would be much greater for this build than normal Viridian Jewels or Cobalt Jewels, because you want as much flat damage as possible, right? But it's cool. So we might play this tomorrow in the hardcore league. We'll see, but that's about the recap of it.